I'd like to welcome His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, with, of course, his wife, Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, a medical doctor herself. I'd like also to welcome Mrs. Arabinrin Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, First Lady of Ondo State, my state, so of course I'm particularly proud to be welcoming her here this morning. Dr. Mrs. Shinkafi Bagudu, First Lady of Kebbi State, someone also that I'm very proud to be welcoming. Mrs. Toyin Saraki, wife of our former Senate President, another medical professional, Dr. Bukola Saraki. Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Professor Akin Abami, Commissioner of Health of Lagos State. And in the room, diplomats and professionals, both in the medical realm and public circles, of whom we're very happy to welcome on this occasion. This is a special day, not just for the Odunsis, but also for the country, and arguably the continent. We have with us a pair of people who are truly excellent. They have a background of excellence. They're here with their friends who have given them great support. They are the co-founder and chairman of Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center and Specialist Hospital, Mr. Bolaji Odunsi, and his wife, Dr. Modupe Elebute Odunsi. Why so special? This is a cancer center that's going to be the first in Africa. But I think it's actually more than that. It's because it's a pioneering effort in healthcare from a background of people who have been pioneers themselves. Mr. Odunsi is a co-founder and partner of Sterling Square Capital Partners, a mid-market European private equity firm. He's a non-executive director of UAC Interswitch Limited, and he graduated as in civil engineering from King's College, University of London, and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England. This center was established and named after his his mother, Mrs. Marcelle Ruth Odunsi. She was a former vice principal, I think, of Igbobi College. But more importantly, it's because of her efforts at making sure that her children appreciated public service and excellence that this institution is here today. I will not detract from some of the other speeches you're going to hear this day by giving you too much information at this point. I'd like to instead invite Mr. Bolaji Odunsi, who with his knowledge of finance and private equity decided that, very unusually, that his wife could have a very special present from him. He decided to present her with her own hospital. His excellence in finance, coupled with her brilliance, true brilliance, more of which I will speak later, has ensured that this could happen. A big round of applause for Mr. Bolaji Odunsi to welcome and make a few introductions.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Bolaji Odunsi, as Yinka said, chairman and founder with my wife, Dr. Modupe Elebute, of the Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center and Specialist Hospital. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all our guests, recognizing the Right Honorable Mr. Femi Bajabiamila, Speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives, His Excellency Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Executive Governor of Lagos State, and Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, we are deeply grateful to every one of you for gracing us with your presence. We thank you very much. Today is a momentous day, and it's a joyous day, because it represents the culmination of a long and tortuous journey a story of grit, determination, persistence, and resilience in the face of significant hurdles and challenges. One day, maybe I'll be invited by the government or someone, I can explain. But you know, there are some serious hurdles that face potential entrepreneurs in this industry. And that's before COVID-19. Anyway, I'm very happy to say that those painful memories are fading fast. And here we are with a world-class center, the first one-stop shop for the comprehensive treatment of cancer. And I would like to emphasize, although that word is there, I think we are dealing with a lot of other specialist conditions. We have a general practice, we have screening, we have dermatology. So, you know, it's not just the big C word. And, you know, we expect, we hope, we pray that we will serve many patients, both in Nigeria, West Africa, and beyond. Now, my wife is going to talk about the process and her dream and her vision, because I cannot pretend to you that I was the one that was behind this. Yes, I did help finance some of it, but I'm not. But I would like to thank all the organizations that have worked with us on the journey, and it has been a journey. We thank each and every one of you. I do want to mention in particular, first of all, Varian. From our first meeting with the leadership team in Palo Alto in California in October 2017. So the machine you're going to see later, we bought in December 2017. They held our hand all the way, you know, and for them, we thank them very much. I want to thank Tanet, their representative in Nigeria. You might ask and be thinking, why hasn't anybody else done this? Well, apart from the financial obstacles, the regulatory and technical hurdles are enormous. And without both Varian and Tanet on this job, I don't think we would have made it. I'd like to thank GE Healthcare, who advised us on the equipment and our suppliers. And it's not just a question of turning up to GE and saying, I want to buy an X-ray machine or a CT scan. There's a process, there's a procedure, there's a way it has to be installed, and so on. Then I'd like to thank, and they're not in the room, a company called Veritas. They provided a bunker, and the bunker here is not what you think of traditionally as a room in the ground, but it's the room which contains the radiation which is emitted by the LINAC when it's treating patients. I have to say that this bunker was bought on a pre-designed basis from the US, Pennsylvania, and it's the most traveled bunker in the world because half of it came into Nigeria and left to go back to the US. And we're talking about 76 containers of bricks. I definitely have to mention the Central Bank of Nigeria. We have been beneficiaries of the COVID-related Healthcare Intervention Fund. And in particular, we want to mention the support of Polaris Bank, who helped us navigate that process. Without them, things would have been a lot more difficult. We, of course, have to mention the main contractors, Interkel, who did a great job. We are still friends, surprisingly. We'd love to mention, and we are mentioning Lambert Electromech, the MEP contractors. You know, Lambert do much bigger things. They did us a favor on taking on a very small job for them, but they executed with care and diligence, as if it was a big job. And for them, we thank them. I thank my Egbon, Omonito and Abe, our structural engineers. I thank molecular consultants, our MEP consultants. Of course, I have to thank our architects. We're just about back on speaking terms, Delano and Co. No, he did a great job. I thank FOAB, our quantity surveyors. MedCourt, who put in a very complicated computer hardware system. We are going to be a paperless hospital, completely paperless. If you come in as a patient today and you come back in 15 years' time, the system will recognize you that you've come in and it will bring back your images from 15 years ago. I'd like also to thank Dan Hody Engineering, who are outstanding and superlative in the installation of our modular and operating theaters. I think I should also mention that this process requires a lot of permits, a lot of permissions, a lot of processes, and there's two government arms that we had to deal with, out of many, that I would like to single out. I think that the first one is the NRA, the Nigerian National Radiation Authority. They have been fantastic to deal with, straightforward, clear, concise, precise. And then the other one is the NCS, the Nigerian Customs Service. And for that, I don't think we need to mention anymore. This hospital is a vision and dream of my wife, and she will tell the story. To others thinking about making a similar journey, I would encourage you and hope that our story will inspire you and give you the confidence to start. You can raise the bar and exceed expectations. You know, a lot of people are very proud about, you know, making negative comments about the country. And, we do need to start somewhere. And, we have to have a plan, and we have to have a vision. And I'd like to quote from a reverend, Nicky Gumbel. Vision, it's a deep dissatisfaction with what is, combined with a clear grasp of what could be. It is a picture, a mental sight of the future that inspires hope. Vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision is a nightmare, but vision combined with action can change the world. We can change things, and we can exceed people's expectations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolaji Odunsi, who's extremely modest in the way he's describing what has been a mammoth effort. But let's turn our attention now to the CEO of this center, Dr. Modupe Elebute, MBBS, MD, FRCP, FRC PATH. She's a co-founder, and she is now the CEO. Her husband is her personal assistant, as I like to point out. She needs good financial muscle behind her. But she comes from a very prestigious medical family. Both her parents are professors of medicine, and her late father, Professor Elebute, was a legend in the medical sphere. At 37, he was a professor, and by 50, he had retired into private practice, but consulting for the federal government, encouraging the federal government to establish healthcare for all Nigerians and guiding them in the way that they should do it. It's not surprising, given her DNA in terms of excellence. I mean, her siblings are accountants and lawyers and at the tops of their professions. But you cannot, in 3 paragraphs, describe the excellence, the hard work, and determination she brings to medical service. She's a consultant hemato-oncologist, to get it right, qualified from the College of Medicine, University of Lagos in '86, did her postgraduate training in internal medicine and hemato-oncology at the Centers of Excellence in London, St. Bartholomew's Hospital, St. George's Hospital, and the Royal Marsden, received a prestigious fellowship from the Leukemia Research Fund, gained a Doctor of Medicine MD degree from the University of London for groundbreaking work. She held consultant and honorary senior lecture posts at St. George's Hospital, the National Blood Service, and was clinical lead for a specialist service funded by the UK Department of Health at King's College Hospital. She also had a well-established private practice at the Spire and Lister hospitals. All this, and she also managed to bring up children. In fact, it was her determination to make sure that her children were properly brought up that meant she sacrificed a bit of her career before coming back to set up this center. She is the epitome of the reverse brain drain, as is her husband. A big, big round of applause for her, ladies and gentlemen. A pioneer in her field, Dr. Modupe Elebute Odunsi. We can keep the applause going.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I will stand on already established protocols, just to say that we're, as our chairman said, very, very grateful that you're all here. In trying to think about what I was going to say this afternoon, for the last 2 days, there's just one word that kept resonating in my mind, and I think I've just got to get it out, and then maybe I can move on from there. It's a Yoruba word, Okpe. Every time I think about how we got here, the fact that we are here, and many of you in this room have been with us along the journey, all I can think of is Okpe. For those who are joining us virtually, and I know I have a lot of international colleagues, this Yoruba word has 2 meanings. One is thanks, and the other, gratitude. So I'm standing in front of you with thanks and with gratitude, because, honestly, December, with just family and friends, and a very good friend, Mrs. Toyin Saraki, came and said, okay, let's just make this up a little bit. And we were going to lock the doors, go for Christmas with our children, And 24 hours later, I got a phone call. 2 days later, we had our first admission. I had to stay back, and we've been admitting patients since. I never understood throughout that whole journey of about 7 years, actually, and 3 years on this site, just what an impact we would be making. That was not the plan. That was not the purpose. The purpose really was just to come back and come and practice medicine in an internationally, recognized manner. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to those who join us every Thursday afternoon on our tumor board. We have about 6 or 7 doctors, consultants from across the world who every Thursday afternoon join us by Zoom to discuss cases with us, to make sure that we're achieving international guidelines, to make sure that we're treating patients right. And Mr. Governor, I would like to say, we share your vision, your passion to reverse the medical tourism. We need to do it. Together, working between the private and the public sector, this is the time. If COVID-19 hasn't taught us anything, sir, it has taught us that none of us may be able to get on that plane to go and access healthcare. None of us may be able to get on that plane to send our children to school. And the other thing, sir, is that actually, if you ask the majority of people when they do leave the country to go and access healthcare abroad, 70–80% of the time, they're being looked after by Nigerian doctors. I had somebody who called me the other day, a girl who had a haploidentical stem cell transplant for sickle cell disease, very complicated procedure. The head of that stem cell transplant unit in Tennessee and Mississippi is a Nigerian doctor. This is our time. We need to change the narrative. And in addition, I'm hoping also that as I stand here, and I've already had some colleagues, because obviously we're on WhatsApp groups. That's the one thing that COVID has done for us. We all now understand how to keep in contact virtually. I've had a number of people from my medical school or from abroad who now are thinking about coming back. Apart from the infrastructure, Dr. Marcelle, I'm sure tells you every day, medicine, infrastructure, yes, but the skill set, very, very important. We need to begin, and Lagos, I'm sure, will be at the forefront of this. And when we do things like this, people will want to come back, and will want to come and look after. There are a lot of doctors who want to come and be here, but also we have a responsibility to provide education for the younger ones who are coming up, to enthuse them, to make them passionate about medicine, the way that I was made to be passionate about medicine, which is why I'm able to stand here. So I would like to end by just saying thank you very much to all of you who have come to join us today. We pledge in front of all of you that we will continue to make sure that we do not let hold of that dream, that seed that was planted in my mind, that seed that has been supported by our chairman, and that seed that brings us to this place where we have to make it important that patients remain at the center of what we do every day, and we do not drop those standards. Thank you very much for listening.
I'd like to welcome His Excellency, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. Good afternoon, sir. He's at pains to assure me that he's here as a very personal friend of the Odusis, but of course, his status and title go with him wherever he goes, regardless. Thank you very much for being part of this occasion, sir. We look forward to hearing your address. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know it's hot. In fact, I believe Her Excellency Claire Perangelo, the U.S. Consul General, is here with us. We welcome her. Varian is an important part of the team that created this center from the United States, and we're very grateful that she and her accompaniment are here with us. It's a bit like Mississippi or Texas at the moment, but we hope that we'll get through the afternoon fairly quickly. We have a corporate video to show you, a very short one, a couple of goodwill messages, an address by our special guests of honor, and then we'll be through to a small walk through the facility. Thank you very much. The video.
Before we go on this virtual tour, let me tell you a little bit about the hospital. Named after my mother-in-law, Mrs. Marcelle Ruth Ann Odunsi, who died from complications of breast cancer in 1999, the idea of developing the hospital was conceived to bring international standards of care back to Nigeria so that patients can be looked after in an environment closer to home.
So in the concierge service, we provide a thorough health assessment check, which is tailored to your needs and to your age. So we are screening, and then from screening, we diagnose, treat, and have a lifestyle plan for you all under one roof.
This is the first in West Africa and of course the first in Nigeria. It's a very accurate machine for treating all kinds of cancer, including stereotactic radiosurgery. So we can do surgical operation using this particular machine. We're talking about non-invasive surgery of small brain lesions. And we can also treat all sorts of cancers such as the breast, prostate, head and necks, and every other type of cancer that we think. The good thing about this machine is that it's the most accurate machine at the moment, and it's the state of the art.
Here at Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center, we individualize patient care, and under the same roof, patient can have all the investigations done and have all the treatment done, so they don't need to go elsewhere. So coming to Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center is going to give that leverage in which patient comes in, meets the well-seasoned specialist in different areas in the radiation oncology, in surgery, and at the same time also in general oncology care. And patients can have the best so far that the West Africa has ever seen.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that brings to the end. Well, we had to show the video for those who are watching virtually, but most of you will be able to see it live this morning. I'd now like to take a small goodwill message from Chris Toth, President and Chief Operating Officer of Varian Medical Systems from the United States of America.
Hi, this is Chris Toth, CEO of Varian. I send warm greetings to Mr. and Mrs. Odunsi, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Right Honorable Speaker of the House, the U.S. Consul General to Nigeria, and other distinguished guests. I regret that I'm not able to join you in person, but let me say on behalf of Varian, we are very excited about this momentous event and about your tremendous achievement with the building of the Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center. And we share your pride that the center will soon be able to offer patient treatment on the first TrueBeam system in sub-Sahara Western Africa. I'd also like to offer our sincere congratulations to Mr. Odunsi and Dr. Dupay on the incredible journey you have personally taken to bring cancer treatment options to the people of Lagos and of Nigeria. Varian and MRCC both share the same vision of advancing cancer care to achieve a world without fear of cancer. We know that over the next 20 years globally, new cancer cases are expected to grow by approximately 67% to 30 million new diagnoses per year. And in Lagos, the story is the same, with increasing numbers of people who need care and very real challenges to meeting that need. That's why your achievement today is so important and why we are so honored to partner with MRCC to develop world-class cancer treatment with you so that more patients in Lagos and Nigeria will have access to care. In closing, all of Varian thanks you for the opportunity to participate in this event and for your partnership. We are excited for this important milestone to be achieved today and look forward to seeing your great success in the near future. Thank you, and I wish you all a healthy and prosperous year.
Thank you very much, Chris Toth. I'd like to take a goodwill message, a very short one, and our goodwill message is going to be very brief, but the first one from the U.S. Consul General, Claire Pierangelo, who is with us here today.
Well, one of the first lessons in diplomacy is the hotter it is, the shorter your speech should be. So bear with me as I cut this down as we go. But let me say thank you to all the distinguished guests for letting me join you today, Dr. Odunsi. It's quite an honor. A few days ago, the governor and I were together on a teleconference with the U.S.-Nigeria Council, and one of the things that he highlighted very clearly, and I highlighted very clearly, was medical care in Lagos, the opportunities, the challenges, and most importantly, this project. So I'm so proud to be here, and congratulations. Let me also congratulate, of course, two great American companies who you've worked with who helped make this possible. Varian, which is the producer of the TrueBeam Linear Accelerator, latest invention in the world in radiotherapy, and GE Healthcare, which of course makes the world award-winning Senograph Pristina 3D, the first patient-assisted compression device in mammography. Women all over the world are sighing in relief. Let me tell you, GE, thank you. Let me also say that the equipment that they have installed here is not only state-of-the-art, but it's easy to use. And I understand that the more than 40 healthcare professionals here at MRCC have completely advanced training courses on these devices. So not only can we trust the machines, we can trust the people operating the machines. And it's so heartwarming to know that MRCC is the first comprehensive healthcare center here in Nigeria, perhaps the whole of Africa, with this advanced radiotherapy treatment. So Nigerians, as you say, don't need to travel overseas anymore. They can get world-class care right here. We are, the U.S. continues to lead in medical research, innovation, and technology to provide solutions not only to cancer, but to other diseases. We hope that we are able to do more here in Nigeria with our U.S. companies. Excuse me. Varian and GE are just the tip of the iceberg of what our U.S. medical equipment providers can do. They are reliable partners in your efforts. And as I said, it's very hot, so that's the end of my speech. Thank you again to the governor. Thank you again to all the other distinguished guests. Thank you to Dr. Odunsi, and congratulations. This is an amazing accomplishment. I hope that it's only the first of many. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claire Pierangelo, Her Excellency, Consul General of the United States of America, for showing the way in terms of brevity of speeches. May I also now ask that we welcome Ebai Eyong, GE Head Sub-Saharan Africa, to make a very quick goodwill message. Thank you. Ebai Eyong.
Great. So good afternoon, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, partners, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on all protocols observed. On behalf of GE Healthcare, it's an honor to be here today with a shared vision to accelerate the diagnosis, treatment of cancer in Lagos, in Nigeria, and across West Africa. I was reflecting 4 years ago. I sat with Dr. Elebuti in a restaurant in London, and she shared with me her vision of what she wanted to achieve here in Lagos. Being here today to see her dream realized is surreal. I'm exceptionally proud that GE had played a role and have been part of this important milestone. We are seeing the fruits of a labor of hope, patriotism, innovation come to life here today. This center fills a gap that ensures cancer patients in Nigeria get the highest quality care possible. The mission is clear. It's actually possible to prevent 1/3 of cancer cases, and it's absolutely possible to treat many, many more and save many more Nigerian lives. This center is absolutely positioned to improve on that metric and save lives in the moments that really do matter. Previously, patients had to travel overseas. They had to seek expertise in foreign lands. The pandemic that we're living through is a clear example of that's not the way forward. Today, we have a center that offers that high-class level of treatment here today. And frankly, keeps Nigerian money in Nigeria to stimulate the Nigerian economy and stimulate the health economy too. So today's inauguration is a true landmark. It underscores the role of the private sector working to deliver world-class healthcare. I'm humbled to be here. Thank you, Dr. Elebuti. Thank you, Mr. Odunsi, for your trust and confidence in GE. It's been an amazing journey, and we continue on that. I'm honored and privileged to serve as a partner of myself and GE to serve as a partner of MICC and to deliver such groundbreaking achievement. Congratulations, Dr. and Mrs. Odunsi. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ebai Eyong, Head Sub-Saharan Africa for GE. Our next and last goodwill messages before our VIP messages is from Professor Akin Abayomi. Well, everyone knows him. He's taken on the most difficult job in Lagos State. When he came as part of the reverse brain drain to work as Commissioner of Health, he wasn't expecting a pandemic. He's got one. It was right along his specialty. He's probably been the most valuable member of His Excellency's team as a consequence of that health pandemic. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Akin Abayomi, Commissioner of Health, Lagos State.
Good afternoon, Mr. Governor, Your Excellency. In the interest of time and speed, and to try and speed up this process, permit me to cut protocol. There's so many very important people in this room today, but I'd like to just get through my message very quickly. So, being a hematologist just like Dr. Elebuti, I think, you know, when you look at specialist degrees, you have to understand what they mean. And actually, I don't need to read Dr. Elebuti's CV once I just look at her degrees and her degrees say everything. She's not only a doctor, she's a specialist in internal medicine, she's a hematologist, and she's an oncologist. What does that mean? It means that she can treat any internal medical condition, she can treat any hematological condition, and she can treat any cancer. To get to that level, you need to spend at least 15 years of specialist training over and above your medical degree, your house job, and your NYSC. So Dr. Elebute Odunsi is not only a big fish, but she's a big catch for Lagos State. And an epitome of what Mr. Governor is trying to do in Lagos State, to make Lagos State an attractive place. We can't do much about the pull factor that takes our medical cadres out of Lagos or Nigeria, but we can do a lot about the push factor. The push factor is good infrastructure, good equipment, digital platforms, comfortable environment, doctors' quarters, medical cadres quarters, looking after the welfare of our specialists. Now, I don't want to bore you with statistics, but there is one oncology facility in Luth. This is the second. If we look at the statistics, and I was discussing this the other day with Mr. Governor, we need 10 more just to scratch the surface based on the number of cancer patients we're seeing. And Mr. Governor knows this only too well because he's forever signing my memos to him to pay for people to go abroad to get treatment that we can now start to get in Lagos State. So congratulations, Dr. Elebute. On my final brief note, as you see Mr. Governor sitting here, Mr. Governor is also an expert on medical infrastructure and medical disciplines by virtue of being married to a specialist and also being the incident commander of COVID-19. And you may not know, but Mr. Governor has a project called Mr. Governor's Medical Infrastructure Transformation Project. That cuts across all the disciplines of health, primary, secondary, and tertiary. We're trying to fix all the primary healthcare facilities with special fit-for-purpose design. And as you can see from this infrastructure, Mr. Governor, when you walk around, you will see that this place was designed fit for purpose. We're rehabilitating all our general hospitals so that we can reduce that push factor. Doctors will be in a more comfortable environment. We're building staff quarters. And we're trying to do something about LASUTH. But along the secondary health level, which is the general hospitals, we're focusing now on specialist centers. So we're building the pediatric facility that you can see on the Osborne. We're doing an infectious disease research institute. Mr. Governor will tell you all about it. We were discussing the oncology center that the state is trying to develop to fill that gap that I just mentioned about where we have a deficit of 10 facilities of this capacity. So when Mr. Governor, I don't want to take the wind out of his sails. When he comes up, he will tell you a bit more about his very impressive transformation agenda. And once again, congratulations to you and your husband and to all the people that made this possible. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Professor Akin Abami has actually said it all. The speech you are about to hear from His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, has been read over by the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Bijoke Sanwo-Olu. So all he has to do is make sure he delivers it to her satisfaction. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much. Today is brevity. So I was telling Mr. Odunsi while we're coming in, see, when you invite too many public people, they take over your event and they make it look as if, you don't know what you're doing. But I think a lot has been said here. It's such an honor and a rare privilege, given what we've heard from all of the great speakers. Dr. and Mrs. Odunsi, Elebute Odunsi, had said it. It's thanksgiving and gratitude. But it's not only thanksgiving and gratitude. It's courage, it's resilience, it's forthrightness, it's tenacity, it's the willingness not to give up. It's that willpower to continue to push forward, push hard, and ensure that you get to that meeting point in which you can get all of your life expected desires. I want to congratulate you again. On a side personal note, I just needed to confirm that. Growing up in my house, my dad used to work with Ruth. He didn't qualify for a medical doctor, so he wasn't a medical doctor. But he was head of personnel. And so I was asking her that, is it the same Professor Elebute when we were growing up that my dad used to take care of and all of you in Ruth? And he said yes, because she remembers my dad very, very well. So what it means is that indeed, that model of excellence, you know, your dad and your mom has certainly passed it on to you. And I certainly also want to commend, because you can have all of these great ideas. If you don't have a man that has the same passion and vision and can actually also bring out the check and write it, then it's just a dream. And so you can see that indeed, Mr. Odunsi had played that role and had played it very, very well. And he had said to me, sitting down here, that you know what, we certainly shouldn't cut corners. So what are we about as a government? We're about the things that Professor Abami have just said. We're meant to be a strong enabler. We're meant to be people that will make ease of doing business better. We're meant to be an activator to ensure that when you take that decision to want to make this investment, government should be there, work with you, and make it, you know, seemingly a lot easier. I will be honest with you. So we're not there yet. If you check all the boxes, maybe all of the boxes are not there yet. But we are on our way to ensure that we make Lagos an investor destination. We must have lost Twitter, but we have not lost MRCC. This is our own Twitter that has come home. This is a belief for our citizens, for us to say that when we put our mind to things, we can make it happen. But for us as a government, we also need to show that indeed we're not just talk, we need to be able to also activate the infrastructure. COVID, like everybody had said, has taught us very difficult lessons. That infrastructure, training, and capacity development in the health sector, it's a yes that for anybody to certainly. Of course, my wife and I never go to events together, but she has been drumming in my hair still tomorrow that I keep telling you that the doctors, they need this, they need it. Dr. Onoiga, she's here. She's the head of our health management services. She's a retired permanent secretary. We had to go and look for her again and say that all of those nice things you are doing, come back and continue that great work you're doing. And so what are our intervention strategy? We're building one of the biggest, will be the biggest pediatric children hospital in sub-Saharan Africa, if not in Africa. We're building that. We're building a mental and a mental health facility, because we're seeing all of that, you know, as part of a direct intervention that government can do. Like he said, we're renovating 6 concurrently of our general hospitals, where we're expecting specialist care at each and all of those hospitals. We're doing fit for purpose in a lot of the primary health infrastructures, which are ordinarily meant for local government. We're taking them over, and we're saying we will not leave this to you alone, because there are places where we need to work and work well. And even with a cancer center, like he said, 10, Lagos certainly should be donating 1 in terms of infrastructure. We probably need to go and look for the skills to be able to run it, right? But in terms of donation, within the next 12 months, because the building is coming up, and we said to ourselves that, and the reason is very simple. The statistics, like what Chris said, right, is actually mind-boggling, right? The rate of fatality when you have the disease, cancer, compared to other developed countries in the world, the rate is like twice that. Most likely they will not come out. So we need to make it accessible, affordable for our citizens. So we need to deliberately look for those infrastructure, look for those investments to make it happen. Claire mentioned it now. 2 days ago, we're also on a webinar in which they were asking me all of the difficult questions. What level of infrastructure are you putting in? We're doing a city metropolitan fiber optics, where it will ensure that MCRR is able to do telemedicine with all of the great, practitioners they have anywhere in the world, and have very strong fiber capability where they can do, remote medicine. They can do it, with very strong fiber and internet connectivity. And on a last straw, to say that we need to also support investments like this. right? We've looked around. There's a building right beside which we need to sit with them and see how they can scale up the infrastructure around here. And I was just telling your husband that if that is the minimum we can do, that we certainly need to do for you. And make this place an experience, for your patient. When they come in here, they will come in sick, but we're believing that they will leave this place healthier and knowing fully well that they are better. And it has to be a journey, and we will work with you on that journey. Lagos State will certainly not leave you alone. We will not throw this all out and say that it's for the private sector. Government must be a strong, real enabler of that sector. And like we said, training is one of the things that, so that we can stop, the pull factor, which is what usually take our experts and our practitioners out of the country. We need to ensure that the pull component is there so that we can retain them and keep them here. Let's go open MCRR. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those very kind words. As I said earlier, His Excellency, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, Speaker of the House of Representatives, holder of one of the more difficult jobs in a very populous country, but one he's held down extremely well over these past few years, has said to me that he's here because he is a personal friend with a lot of personal friendship and admiration for the Odunsis. But he is still the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So, sir, may I welcome you to come and give the keynote address. Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure this is the keynote address, just a short remark for this on this very important occasion. Let me ask you to indulge me as I stand on already established protocol and say good afternoon to all of you. I want to thank the board and executive management of the Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center and Specialist Hospital for the invitation to join on this special occasion. You have accomplished a tremendous thing here, and I am honored to be a part of it. It was many years ago that Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, then you can live it. There is no truer occasion or better occasion to live this through. This wasn't just pie in the sky for Dr. Elebute. You dreamt it, you worked it, and you achieved it. You are simply the gift that just keeps giving. A cancer diagnosis can often feel like the end of the world. Everything changes for the recipient of the diagnosis as it does for their family, their friends, and all those who love them and wish them well. But it doesn't have to be that way. Advances in medical technology and improvements in quality of care have made it possible for us to fight back and in many cases defeat this insidious disease. Though these advances in the quality of care and technology exist, they do not exist here at home in numbers sufficient to give people a fighting chance against cancer. The Marcelle Ruth Center is a ray of light for all those who are at this moment fighting for their lives and a beacon of hope for those who might yet receive a diagnosis in the future. This edifice is a testament to what can be achieved when we harness the vision and tenacity of the Nigerian people to develop solutions to our nation's most pressing problems. With this center, we have one more resource to end medical tourism. In Nigeria, we lose foreign exchange when people travel abroad for healthcare. We also lose when our young professionals go abroad for training and for the opportunity to practice their craft in more suitable environment. With the Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center and Specialist Hospital, we are closer to reversing this unfortunate trend. But there is so much more we can do and should do. The federal government, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, has indicated a willingness to provide support for those who will have the vision, the courage, and tenacity to build medical centers of excellence such as this one in every state of the Federation. The House of Representatives will support these efforts by ensuring a statutory framework that protects such investments and eliminates regulatory obstacles that stand in the way of the best efforts of innovators like Dr. Modupe Elebute Odunsi. And at this point, let me say and acknowledge and say, and the chairman, her husband. Like has been said earlier, rarely do you find a couple with the same vision, standing shoulder to shoulder, taking each step together to realize the vision. I congratulate you. I congratulate Dr. Elebute for your shared vision and passion in the arena of medicine. Personally, apart from what the House will do, apart from what the government is doing, I will, in the next 4 weeks, personally facilitate the delivery of a fully equipped state-of-the-art ambulance to this facility. I want to especially thank His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu and the entire government of Lagos State for their efforts at making this vision a reality. You have shown what is possible when the private sector collaborates with state governments in pursuit of progress and excellence. And you have provided a template for public-private collaborations that I hope will be adopted by other state governments going forward. I congratulate the board and management of the Marcelle Ruth Specialist Cancer Center and Specialist Hospital for the successful opening of this facility. I look forward to the many success stories that will emerge from this center. May God bless you and keep you, and may God bless the Federal Republic.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for those brief but very important words. And of course, this brings us to perhaps one of the more important parts of this ceremony this morning, this afternoon. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, after we have a very short vote of thanks from Dr. Odunsi, the first row will depart with Dr. Odunsi, take a photograph, cut the tape, and go for a tour of the facility, including Mr. Bolaji Odunsi, the first row. Their aides, please, we would enjoin you to trust that they will be safe in there and you can wait for them. The next two rows, including the Consul General and distinguished Senator, that row will be taken into the facility by Kemi Ogunyemi, Mrs. Kemi Ogunyemi, and they will leave just a few minutes after. For the rest of us, and I know you're all passionate and interested in seeing and supporting this wonderful facility, we'd ask you to be patient in here while we bring some refreshments. Everything will be visible on the screens for you to see, so you don't have to follow through immediately, and we'll make arrangements to come back in here and take you through, just so that everything is neat and orderly. I must impress upon you that the equipment in there isn't something anyone can replace if something gets damaged easily. So that's why it's important that we keep the groups very small so they can very quickly go. And I know His Excellency the Governor and His Excellency the Speaker will want to leave immediately after the tour. So thank you very much for please working with me on this, Dr. Odunsi.
Thank you very much. I know it's very hot, but I do feel that I have to say a massive thank you to everyone for being here. And a special thanks, obviously, to Mr. Governor and Dr. Mrs. Sonwolu, my colleague, also to Your Excellencies, First Ladies. Special thanks, obviously, to the Speaker of the House and for that absolute generous gift that came out of nowhere, honestly, and we need one. We actually need one, so thank you very, very much. But also, I wanted to spend just 1 minute to thank the team that I've built here. I started here in December. I had 5 staff. We now have 45 staff today. We have recruited people who are extremely passionate, extremely hardworking, people I have to tell you that I have pushed to the limit and they haven't pushed back. People who have worked more hours than I could ever hope for them to do and are still doing so. I'm very, very grateful. I want to say that I'm very proud that we are Nigerian owned, we're Nigerian led, and apart from 2 expert staff without whom we couldn't run the True Beam, because that's a piece of kit that's never been seen in this part of the world, we're totally Nigerian run. Okay, because everybody said to me, you can't do this. We did it. Now I get people saying to me, why don't you have these experts managing the place? No, Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center is managed by Mrs. Modupe Dada as Director of Operations, who leads a team of excellent people. They have worked extremely hard because honestly, we've had to respond. Like I said, actually, the financial model by the financial guru was that we were not going to admit any patients for 6 months. Well, I was like, you mustn't admit anybody because we don't have electricity, water, it's going to be expensive. We started admitting from the 3rd day. That is what this team have responded to. And we now work 24 hours a day. We have had the most complex cases. I was saying to Professor Abayomi, the most complex hematology cases, leukemias, lymphomas, apart from the solid tumors that we expected here. And the majority of our patients have done extremely well. I'm very, very proud of my team. I look forward to working with you over the next number of years. And I know that Mr. Odunsi has plans to expand and go across the country with radiotherapy machines. He's on his own. Oh. I'm retiring. When I turn 60 in 4 years' time, I'm in the Bahamas, by God's grace. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Speaker, especially the Governor, there I was thinking that she'd be true to her name, Modupe, and that would be the end of the vote of thanks. May I ask you to remain seated? The first 2 rows, as I said, their Excellencies, very grateful for their presence, the First Lady of Kebbi State, the First Lady of Ondo State, the First Lady of Lagos State, along with the Speaker of the House and the Governor and Mrs. Toyin Saraki and the Consul General of the United States. Please, could you accompany Dr. Odusi and Mr. Bolaji Odusi out of the door to the right, and nobody else should go through that door for now. Thank you very much. The next 2 rows will be taken by Kemi Oguyemi. Can I ask the press and photographers to please hold back until our dignitaries are able to go? We don't have to take photographs in here. We have a specially prepared area outside and to the right, and that is where you're headed to immediately. Dr. Odusi and Mr. Bolaji Odusi, can I ask you to please take our guests through immediately? Thank you very much. We do have a place for photographs, and we need to get our dignitaries out of the hall. Thank you. Extremely grateful once again for the First Ladies who have been here. And those who wish to congratulate Dr. Odusi and her husband, they're not going anywhere. After the tour, they'll be back here. The tour will take about 15-20 minutes. Please help us by allowing them to go out through the door and to the right.
We're actually not going to do come back another day with our doctor from Abuja to take a look at everything.
So our dignitaries going through, they're going to take photographs. You can watch it all on the screen behind me. They'll cut the tape and proceed to walk through the facility. You don't want to bring it? Okay. 3, 2, 1, we're done. Thank you. Please, can you make a path through to the door, please? Thank you very much. Press, please, to the left. You will not go through the door. Thank you. We only have a couple of photographers accredited to go through. Thank you. Could I ask our photographers to step back, please, from the door? It'll give you more room and an ability to get the shots you require. Okay. So His Excellency the Speaker is about to cut the tape with Dr. Dusi and Mr. Bolaji Odusi.
To the glory of God,
the Speaker,
and to the benefit of mankind, we hereby unveil officially the MRCC Cancer Center, Marcelle Ruth Cancer Center. People who come in here, but they will leave this place haven't gotten well from whatever sickness or illness they might have contracted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Can we ask the photographers to step back and let His Excellency through with just the VIPs from the first and second row? He's unveiling the plaque. The plaque is going officially unveiled by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Thank you, sir. Security, please stay out. According to the governor, securities, please stay back. Mrs. Saraki, after Mrs. Saraki, nobody else to go in, please. No. No. That's it. Let him go in. No. Lock it. Stay there, please. Okay. No. So don't before he himself said it.
we're believing that this investment not only cure people, heal soul. So to the glory of God and to the benefit of mankind. And people will, and this true beam and will realize the desired return that is expected. Thank you very much, Lord Jesus. Thank you.
to her.
But for us as a government, it's to continue to encourage people like her and ensuring that we can provide complementary infrastructure that would ensure that this facility continues to run and provide, international standard of healthcare for our citizens. This is real conversation around, medical tourism coming to Nigeria. You can see the level of professionals that they've been able to train. But we're not leaving it to the private sector alone. Like we've said, inside, right? We are also building some of this. We're building hospitals, new children's hospitals, medical health facilities, research lab. And by the way, we're also planning to also build a cancer center as well, because we need a lot more because of affordability and accessibility. It has to be accessible to people, and it also has to be affordable, right? And over the period of the life of a lot of these big machines, recoupment of investment will happen. One of the machines that I saw here, it's the only one in West Africa, and I think it's massive, right? So the message is to tell our citizens that Christmas has come early. We have a first-class, high-end medical